think, especially if Catalan have lost Bird, I can't see them, pulling it out of the fire. But I don't know. I think Saints will just attack them, and I think if they go at them quickly and they come out and Richardson gets his plenty of hands on the ball as well, I can see them doing it. I think they've got the clutch plays as well in there to really lift them. And I think if Barber was relatively quiet last week, I don't think he will be this week. He has shown himself to get out for the cup games, so I think they'll do this one quite comfortably.
Okay.
Sorry, Le Catalan and your fans.
I kind of coming from a similar point as you. I don't think it's going to be a particularly high scoring game, but I think Saints will win by 2 scores. I've got Saints by 10. If I was putting a scoreline out there, I'd say something like 22-12, that sort of thing. I think it's going to be a good physical contest. I think Catalan's big forward pack and big bench have been really, really good. They lacked a bit of inspiration and creativity against Wigan. Whilst I think they'll get some of that organisation back this week with the players they'll be bringing back in, I don't necessarily think... I can't see them breaking down Saints' defence as much as I can see inspirational plays being pulled out of the backsides of the Saints players. And that's why I think Saints will just be able to score more points. I also think Luke Thompson and LMS will provide a good obstacle to that big Catalan pack. I'm really looking forward to Busquets,
Thompson versus Busquets,
and Casti versus Thompson, Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, and Douglas. I think it's going to be an epic showdown. That part.
And
of the game.
John Wilkin coming in for a bit of grubbing on the top as well.
Potentially so. Well, the moral vacuum will equal that one out. Second game then, Sunday 2:45 p.m. kickoff. Warrington versus Leeds. Leeds. What do you think is going to happen?
I've gone wire by 10. I don't know why I think this was almost going to be closer than the other one, to be honest. Now I'm thinking about it, but I just think that they've got enough. Although they've been stuttering a bit, and certainly last week against Leeds, who confidence will be shot to ribbons, much as they're up for the cup. But will Sinfield Lowe's, whichever one of them is actually in charge, be able to motivate them up for a single one-off game the way Brian Mack could in a cup game? I don't think so. I'm saying Warrington by 10 points for this one. I think they will lift, certainly in terms of defence, but I think Wire have got too much and too many options across the park, and they only need a 6 out of 10 day from 3 players to beat a 7 or 8 out of 10 from 5 players of Leeds, really.
Yeah, I sort of agree. It's getting a bit boring then, because I'm going to go. I'm going Wire by.
Well, I think we've disagreed enough tonight, so we'll agree on this bit.
I'm going Wire by 14. I think if I was throwing a scoreline out there, 30 points to 16, something like that. I just think Warrington have got more form players. I like what you said about how getting this Leeds side up for this cup match isn't the same as what's been getting them up for these cup matches and playoff matches for the last decade plus. It doesn't feel like they've maybe got the grips on the side yet, and also the players in the side. Yeah, they'll be bringing back a couple of experienced players with winning experience in people like Cuthbertson, people like Hall, and they'll be bringing back the key playmaker in Myler, I would suspect as well. I just don't think that's enough. Neither side has shown a great ability to close out games this season, but I think Warrington have just got a better group of players right now. To me, I mean, Hall, as great as he is, I don't think he's doing as well as Charlie is this year. Jack Walker, as nice a talent as he is, I don't think he's in the same sort of form as if he's playing even in the same sort of form as Stephen Ratchford is right now. Parcell and Dwyer are both great with the ball. Parcell is really good defensively as well, but Darryl Clark is the second best hooker in the competition this year, and that's certainly nothing shameful to be about when James Roby's in the competition. And Mike Cooper's playing really well. Chris Hill can play really well when he's not being a dickhead.
Expect him to be a dickhead live on national television, though.
I just think Warrington have got the better better lineup.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on this one too. Okay, women's cup final. I think this is quite intriguing. This is on Saturday. Anyone who wants to go, there's a Shield final between Bradford and Stanley. Let's face it, Bradford are likely to win that one at a fairly easy canter as a Super League side against a Championship side there. That kicks off at 1 o'clock at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. This kicks off at 3 o'clock, the final. I think it's quite an intriguing final. What I would say is Leeds, from what I've seen, probably have altogether a better team going on.
And I think Leeds as well. If you look at the group, because I'm aware of a few people in the group of the players, and they're a very cohesive unit. They get on well with each other. They spend a lot of time outside of training together, and I think that's done them quite well. And I think they're having a bit of an open session this morning.
Got a few players who played at Bradford in their successful teams over the last couple of years too.
So they know what it's like to win a Challenge Cup. They've been there. They've got people around the group. Cuthbertson as a coach as well was going to be able to get them fairly into it, you'd expect. So I've gone Leeds by 10 points to this one. I think they've got too much. I think if nothing else, just for Lewis Vassell, because she is absolutely fantastic as a hooker, controlling, yammering away through the whole game, telling exactly you stand there, you go there, you go. They've got Sophie Robinson coming out the back as well. I think they've got too much firepower, and finally Leeds will get to beat Cass this year.
Well, you talk about the coaching, but Forsell's like a coach on the field as well.
Exactly.
The Leeds side. I'd certainly say she's in the Woman of Steel conversation from what I've seen of the women's competition this year. Although Castleford, I don't want to discount them entirely. I agree with you. I think Leeds will win this one, but I don't want to discount Castleford entirely. I'm not sure where everyone's at with fitness and that sort of thing. It's been a few weeks since these teams have played and stuff, but and I might get the name slightly wrong, but Castleford have got two real stars in that side. Tara Stanley, I think her name is, at fullback, and Katie Hepworth, I think her name is, at loose forward. Those two players, every match review I've read, any bits of highlights I've seen of the Cass play, which I've not seen the Cass women play a full game, I'll level that. I have seen Leeds play full games, I've seen Bradford and Wigan play full games, and St Helens and Featherstone.
And Leeds do have some injuries,
of course. I've not seen Cass play a full game or York play a full game. However, those two players jump off the page in every match report I've read of the women's games this season. So they have got some star players. So if bouncing the ball and that sort of thing, I wouldn't write them off, but I do think Leeds will probably win this one and probably do it by a 2 or 3 score margin.
Yeah, and Leeds have got some injuries as well, which does give Cass a bit of an opening.
They've got more depth, it feels like. They don't seem to lose as much quality when the frontline players are out as I've seen at Wigan and Cass.
Yeah. Well, good luck to them. I'm just
yeah.
Shame I can't get to this one really because of everyone talked about earlier. But would love to have gone to this and watch these two sides go at it.
Well, you'll be able to catch up with it because it'll be on the R League app. So both the Shield final and the Challenge Cup final are being streamed on the R League app. So make sure you get your membership sorted out for that if you don't have it already, kids, and watch these games. If you can't get down to the Halliwell Jones, I'll be there. A few other of the SLP people, including a couple of the SLP sponsors, so you can thank them for their contributions to the show, will be there as well. So a League One game of the week, Bradford versus Whitehaven. It's two teams in the top 4, but Bradford are going to win it, so that's my tip for that one. What do you think?
Yeah, Bradford quite comfortably. Wakefield are sort of patched up with a few additions bringing in last week, but they got quite a few injuries the week before, so and I know sort of Carl Forster was struggling a bit with a calf injury as well, and I think he obviously is quite literally a coach on the field for them. So I think Bradford will do this by a fairly comfortable margin and try and stretch out those points, that point gap.
Yeah, potentially so. In the NRL, Brit picks Rabbitohs versus Storm Friday at 10:55am, Dragons versus Warriors Saturday at 6am, and Panthers versus Raiders Sunday at 7:10am. Sorry, I haven't checked if any of those are on Sky, so check your local listings. If you've got Watch NRL, then you're covered. That is the next week in Rugby League looked ahead to with our insightful predictions. I think we've done a good job there, Tim. I'm proud of us for we can't lose any ground on each other in the competition anyway. That is the other results covered in association with Love Rugby League. We'll now move up to quickly wrap up the longest show of Super League Pod that has not been a special, I would suggest. Okay, Tim, it's going to be a quick wrap up because you forgot that you were supposed to do a quiz for me, so we won't. We don't have a quiz this week. Do you know what? On Thursday night, I started to pull up some cup semi-final stuff to think. Right.
You see, and I had a really good one about players that had played in for both sides of the derby and how but I didn't get time to get around to do. I got distracted.
So
had a busy day Saturday.
You're a busy man at the moment, so you know the steady away week you suggested you had I don't believe it for a second, Tim. So no quiz this week. We've blamed Tim, not me. We definitely agreed at the end of last week's show that you were quizzing me this week. SLP recommends then, because we might as well do this if we've got it. I went to a burger restaurant in Preston called Iceberg on Saturday. It was really nice. That's my recommends. I'm
just going old school. Miniature golf. Went and played a round of miniature golf on Saturday, and although it was I was not victorious, and but I think I was a good loser. I brought it. I lost in the first 6 quite comfortably, but did bring it back. It was just a lot of fun, really, and I definitely recommend doing that. Get a group review or
popping up now, like indoor crazy golf.
Yeah, well, this was in the old Renault factory in Swindon, and they've converted that building into part of it into. It looks like when you go in, it's going to be across the whole factory. You think it's going to be really long, but then you get in there and it's just sort of a small sort of hall. But it was good fun. We had a good afternoon, the two of us. So definitely recommend that one. And another one is another musical one. I did get slated for last week's musical one.
Marmite to the extreme, that song.
And to the point I was going to get a poll out.
Awful.
You see, you say that, and then but other people, I know I did get some feedback from Rob who said that it definitely grew on him. And I love the video, the whole thing.
We got a message through this morning. One of the Aussie guys, I think, said it was how gash it was. One of the overseas listeners, certainly. Anyway, Tim.
I'll give you. If you're coming down to the Butts Park Arena, it definitely will be played this week.
The music was much better selections on Wednesday night than the usual. Yeah, well, whatever it is, I'm not going to play out the episode with because the episode's too long. But what have you got for us there, music-wise?
It's got a site called Hackney Colliery Band. Don't know if you heard of them.
Nope.
But they do covers. They do a good one of No Diggity. Good one of Jericho by the Prodigy.
They sound up my street though.
But they are because they're similar to a Hackney Colliery Band. So they are a brass band, but doing fun covers. So definitely worth checking out. I've got a few of those.
I can't remember if I talked about the U-Clan Chamber Choir doing a cover version of Africa by Toto when I talked about
I'm getting on that one.
But you can find it online because all the graduation ceremonies are online. If you go on my own personal Facebook page, if you're friends with me on Facebook, I put a post on about a week and a half ago. That'll point you to the video and where to watch in the video to see the Chamber Choir sing Africa by Toto. But I might check out.
I went to an event recently, and it said on the box it said any special requests. So I thought, this is too good an opportunity. So I put I'd like to request Toto by Africa, Africa by Toto, or Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights, if not. But unfortunately, I went to the event and they didn't fulfil my request, so I did mark them down on the feedback form accordingly.
Yeah, well, I expect so. I'll tell you what, driving home from the game on Friday night, the guy who must be filling in for Sarah Cox on the 10 p.m. Radio 2 slot that does all the 80s songs and that sort of stuff.
Sounds of the 80s?
He was banging on, it was Kate Bush's 60th birthday, so he was saying, right, we're going to play this Kate Bush mega mix. Now, I just sat there for the whole thing thinking, why don't you just play all these fucking songs rather than this stupid Megamix? I was not satisfied by the Megamix at all. I'm not a Megamix man, certainly not for Legends on the 60th birthday.
More pick and mix than Megamix.
Yeah, well, I'm getting that way. Next week, Lee Whitnell, YFan Lee Whitnell is going to review the Challenge Cup semi-finals with us.
He can give us a book review, hopefully, as well.
Yeah. And we might try and get someone in from a fan from the victorious Women's Cup final side as well, if we can squeeze something in over the weekend, but it might be difficult to get that arranged, but we will see. People can make donations. I want to thank David, St. David, for his donation this week. That was gratefully received.